Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of AB in the Films, and today I got a special guest on the show, Chris Tomasello. How are you, Chris?
Good, Andrew. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So today we're going to be talking about the Mel Brooks collection, and Chris, this was your idea, I believe, right?
Yes, it was. We have seen each other at our young adult ministry group, and we oftentimes spend many times quoting Mel Brooks back and forth at each other, so it seemed like the perfect fit.
And it's interesting because I was thinking about doing a review of History of the World Part 1 for the past like year and a half or so, but I never found time to do it. So when you called me up last week and said we should do the Mel Brooks movies, I'm like, okay, this'll work out, and this will be good because then I can talk about Spaceballs and all the other ones in one episode. So
Such classics.
Yeah, totally. But I've only seen 3 of Mel Brooks' films. Like, I know most of them, but I've only seen 3 of them, and it's Young Frankenstein I saw when I was a kid. I didn't really get much of the humor at the time. I mean, I like it a lot now, but when I was a kid I didn't get much of it. The second was History of the World Part 1, and the third was Spaceballs. So those are the only 3 I've seen. I've never seen Blazing Saddles, and I hear it's hysterical.
Oh, Blazing Saddles is so good. Blazing Saddles is so good. Although I think my personal favorite is Spaceballs.
Mm-hmm.
That's because that's like one of the most quoted movies I quote on a daily basis between me and my other friends. It's always Spaceball references, and no one else understands it unless you've seen the movie.
Right. I mean, like, I actually saw Spaceballs before I saw Star Wars. But,
okay.
Yeah, but I knew who most of the characters were in Star Wars, so I got most of the jokes. But when I saw Spaceballs, I knew Spaceballs was hilarious and everybody loves it, but I had no idea how funny it was. My friend showed it to me in his house in Wildwood, and we just sat and watched it, and we had a great time.
It's Pizza in the Hut!
Anytime Rick Moranis was on screen, that was always the best. Anytime. Him and Colonel Sanders.
Sir? What is it? Can I talk to you, please, sir? Well, you don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it? Now, what is it? I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
I feel like Mel Brooks is kind of like the people watch him when they're younger, but they don't appreciate it. But as they grow up and experience more, they can certainly relate to more of Mel Brooks, especially Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis was a tremendous actor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like, I remember growing up watching Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, that's where I know.
Oh, wow.
That's how I know Rick Moranis from. You know.
Oh wow, there's throwbacks.
Yeah, because I didn't grow up watching Ghostbusters. I didn't see that until I was like, I think out of high school is when I finally sat down and watched Ghostbusters. So.
That's something for another day. But Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
The first 1 and 2 were, I think, part of my favorites.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got them right here on the shelf. But we're talking about Mel Brooks. But
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. So, Young Frankenstein, I saw. You've seen Young Frankenstein, I assume, right?
I've seen clips of Young Frankenstein. The thing I remember the most from Young Frankenstein is the song "Putting on the Ritz."
Yeah, see, I haven't seen Young Frankenstein in a couple of years, but I remember being introduced to it when I was a kid, because my friend was telling me, because I was a big fan of Gene Wilder. I loved Willy Wonka as a kid. I loved the Richard Pryor movies that Gene Wilder did, especially Stir Crazy. And my friend would tell me, he would say, "Oh, you're a Gene Wilder fan. Have you ever seen Young Frankenstein?" I'm like, "No, I never saw that." And he goes, "Oh, you're going to love it." And we watched it, and when you didn't see the Boris Karloff Frankenstein movie and you don't know the story of Frankenstein, when you see this, it was a little confusing at first. Like, I didn't realize this was not only supposed to be a comedy, but it's almost like a sort of sequel in a way, but it's also a parody. And it's like it's kind of all over the place.
We're using the word sequel here very loosely. It's more of a satire comedy take on it than anything else.
Right.
I suggest you put on a tie.
Yeah, because I know, I think Gene Wilder isn't he the son of Dr. Frankenstein?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and he would. I just remember the one line I remember was he would say it's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
I just remember him saying that a lot.
And then we can't mention Young Frankenstein without mentioning the great Peter Boyle playing as the monster himself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. He was
Peter
Boyle,
he was fantastic actor.
Right, yeah. I haven't seen him. The only thing I know him from really is Everybody Loves Raymond. So I really, I haven't seen too many movies that he had done, but Everybody Loves Raymond is the show that I know him from, so.
If you ask most people about Peter Boyle, they always go back to, oh, here's Frank from Everybody Loves Raymond. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Everybody Loves Raymond. It was a great TV show sitcom, but a lot of times that overshadowed Peter Boyle's movie career, but a lot of time, a lot of people didn't know about Peter Boyle because he was an actor actually started in 66 in a movie called Medium Cool. 69, I'm sorry. And then his last movie thing was 2008 with All Roads Lead Home, but it posthumously released.
Wait, you said 2008?
2008, that was his last posthumous release.
Oh wow, that came because he died in 2006. Like it came out 2 years later.
Yeah, they recorded it ahead of time, and then he died, and they released it later on after he died. His last in-person movie appearance was in Santa Claus 3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I think he passed away shortly right before that came out, or after it came out, or something like that. Yeah, it was because I know it was 2006.
It was either side of him passing. So
yeah. Now I have never seen The Producers, which I heard was really funny. I had never seen Silent Movie. I have a feeling I would probably like that one because that one mocks a lot of the silent movies and stuff. And if Mel Brooks is going to do a parody on that, that's obviously going to be good.
I've only seen the 2005 version of The Producers with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick.
I remember when that came out. I haven't seen that either.
It's really good. Really
that was good?
Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick, Max Bialystock and Leopold Bloom, respectively. They did a good job keeping it to the Broadway version with Nathan Lane and the guy who played, I forget, it wasn't Gary Beach, it was the other one who played Roger Debris.
Oh, okay.
The guy who played Roger Debris, I couldn't think of his name, but he ended up playing Bloom on Broadway because Matthew Broderick had movie commitments.
Right, okay. Yeah, so I hadn't seen those, and Young Frankenstein I have seen, but Blazing Saddles came out the same year Young Frankenstein did, which was 74. Now, you've seen Blazing Saddles, right?
Yes.
Okay, you might want to tell me. I've only seen clips of that, and the clips have me laughing, but I've never seen the movie.
What's your name?
Well, my name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
Just sign this right here.
Oh, okay, give us a hand here.
All right, sir.
Work.
Okay, folks, let's wipe them out!
The heroic sheriff rallies his citizens in the wildest finish the West has ever seen.
From the clips that I have a feeling I would like this movie. Like any movie that Gene Wilder did, I'm always going to love it because he did so many comedies.
You have to be able to appreciate dark humor in this because even just what we just talked about is extremely dark humor and satiric, so you have to...
Right.
Mel Brooks is the kind of guy you have to have a eclectic taste of comedy to appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember watching, the first movie that I really, really remember watching from him, other than Young Frankenstein, was History of the World Part 1. And when I saw that for the first time, not only was I laughing so hard, but I remember thinking, there's no way this movie would fly today.
Neither would Airplane.
Oh, Airplane wouldn't either. Now, a lot of movies wouldn't fly. A lot of these movies wouldn't even get made today. Because they're not superhero movies. They're not movies that the studio would have any faith in.
Exactly.
Yeah, because nobody's interested in telling a story anymore in Hollywood. It's so rare. That's why you have the independent filmmakers for. That's where you get your stories.
Or if they do tell a story, it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, I was just talking about that in the flops and the films of 2019, and I do think that that's the best film of 2019. Some people don't think so, but out of the movies that I saw, I thought that was the best one, and I'm not just saying that because I love Tarantino. I really thought that was a really, really good movie. I didn't know I was going to like it as much as I did.
What's your opinion on The Irishman?
Yeah, I talked about that too. I didn't see it.
I mean, for what it's worth, The Irishman was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It just was a lot longer than it should have been. Instead of being a 3.5 hour thing, it could have probably been about 2.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but so History of the World Part 1, we might be skipping a few of Mel Brooks' films because I haven't seen all of them yet, but...
I haven't either.
Yeah, but I just want to say about History of the World Part 1, I didn't know what this movie was going to be about. Because, okay, my friend he has the Mel Brooks collection on DVD, and I told him I had never seen it, and he goes, okay, we're sitting down, we're watching it right now. He went in his room, got the DVDs, and he put History of the World Part 1 in, and I said, is this the first one? Is there like a Part 2 to this movie? And he looks at me with a smile, and he goes, just watch the movie, you'll see. And then the ending came on, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But when I saw this, he didn't tell me what this movie was going to be about. He just told me Mel Brooks is in it. It's the funniest thing. This is one of the funniest movies you'll ever see, and he was right.
The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 10 commandments. Say when?
8:30.
They are my people. I am their sovereign. I love them. Paul!
History of the World, Part 1, starring...
It's good to be the king.
This kind of felt like a Mighty Python when you first look at the premise of it. It feels like Mighty Python and Quest of the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Right. It does have vibes like that at times in the movie. When he plays the stand-up, because he plays a couple of characters throughout the movie, I think, but when he plays when they're talking about, they do the period, because the whole, for those who haven't seen this movie, because there might be some people out there who haven't, it's basically Mel Brooks' take on historic events of the Earth, dating back to, I guess, the book of Genesis, I think, maybe even before that. Like,
it breaks it down into stages. It goes the Stone Age, the Old Testament, the Roman Empire, the Spanish Inquisition, the French Revolution, and the preview of coming attractions.
Yeah. I you know, it's funny. As I was watching this movie, we went from one period of time to the next, and each period was funnier and funnier than the last one.
You can't blame these people for wanting to be thin. Who wants to look like a big fat pig?
Did he say big fat pig?
Yes, he did, sire.
Do you think he meant me?
I believe he did, sire.
Oh.
Get off the fat jokes! Get off fat! Get off fat! No. The two Jews got off. No. Syrian. Politics. Yes, the Roman Senate. The Roman Senate is the best legislature that money can buy. Corruption starts in the streets with the little peddlers. They bribe an assemblyman. The assemblyman bribes a councilman. The councilman bribes a senator. And the senator, it goes all the way up to the emperor. Oh. Shit.
When Jesus and his disciples are at the Last Supper and he comes in as a waiter.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't expecting that.
Send in the nuns. Coming out in swimsuits, everything.
Yeah. The Spanish Inquisition, that whole thing was done in one big musical number. That was a good scene. I thought that was going to be my favorite.
The Inquisition, what a show. The Inquisition, here we go. We know you're wishing that we'd go away, but the Inquisition's here and it's here to stay. Oh, boy.
But if I had to pick my favorite time period in this movie, the French Revolution.
Yes.
That was just... How many times does he look at the camera and go, it's good to be the king?
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king.
Your Majesty.
It's good to be the king.
And then, finally, and Harvey Korman.
But who would sit on my throne in my absence?
We'll find a double and put him on the throne.
Ah, a double in case of trouble. I like it. But where would you find a handsome dog to replace me?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. That's it! Your Majesty, you look like the piss boy.
And you look like a bucket of shit!
I was just gonna say that too.
I was laughing so hard to that like I couldn't catch my breath. I've never laughed that hard ever when I saw this movie for the first time. And then he shows up, posing as the king, and there's a misunderstanding, and this woman comes in, she's like, "Oh, do me, your majesty, do me," and he looks at the camera and he goes, "It's good to be the king."
But you have to say it correctly. It's not just piss boy, it's garçon de pisse. You have to say it correctly. If you're talking the French Revolution, it has to be garçon de pisse. You have to say it correctly.
And Harvey Korman, it's De Monet, and they keep calling him Count de Money.
So it's De Monet. Yeah, count the money. Wow!
Yeah, but that movie. And when he's the stand-up comedian for what's his name, Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
When he that was when he's talking about what was it? He's trying to come up with like different things in his stand-up, and then he forgets it, and then he's just making the king more and more angry as time goes on.
Off with his head. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and wait, you just reminded me, when they do the French Revolution, when they have Mel Brooks as or they think he's the king, but he's posing as the king, and they're about to lop off his head, and he goes, "Oh no, are there any last requests that you have?" Novocaine. There's no such thing known to medical science. I'll wait.
Oh wait.
Like that was, oh my god, that movie was hysterical. It wouldn't fly today.
A lot of people will probably look down on the movie because they did a lot of fourth wall breaks in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of frown upon fourth wall breaks, but if they're done the proper way,
yeah,
they're okay. And History of the World Part 1 really did fourth wall breaks the correct way.
Yeah, I mean, like, even, it's funny you mentioned that. I was watching Ferris Bueller last night. Like, there's a lot of fourth wall breaks in that movie, and they're done right. It works.
That whole movie could not have been the same without the fourth wall breaks.
No, it couldn't have. No way.
Like,
it couldn't
you could always say, like, a certain part of the movie, okay, that fourth wall break didn't need to be there, is that the other, but if you took all the fourth wall breaks out of Ferris Bueller out, the movie would not have been the same, and it would have been nowhere near a cult following that it has.
No way. It wouldn't have been. So I saw History of the World Part 1, and then as soon as that was done, we decided to keep going, and then he popped in Spaceballs.
When will then be now? Boom!
I said I've never seen Spaceballs, but this was before, I think this was, no, because we watched this the year The Force Awakens came out. And okay. I had not seen the original Star Wars movies, again, because I never grew up with them, but I had not seen them. I finally sat down and watched them right before Force Awakens came out, so this was like a couple of months before. But I know who all the characters were in Star Wars, so I wasn't lost when I saw Spaceballs. But it was actually, what's great about Spaceballs is that, unlike those movies that came out in the mid-2000s, like, I don't know if the Zuckers did this, but like Date Movie and Epic Movie and Disaster Movie, all those parodies.
Yeah. Scary Movie 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, no. Those I think are good. But movies like Epic Movie, Disaster Movie, Date Movie, those I think are terrible because they don't work as like a standalone film with the characters that they have. It just seems like one bad joke after the next. With Spaceballs, yeah, it's a parody, but even if you've never seen Star Wars and you have no idea what it's about, you can still follow Spaceballs as its own movie. So like that's good. That's good writing. That's actually pretty. And I can say that because I saw this movie before I saw Star Wars. You know, so I really enjoyed it, but the comedy was, it's like he just kept getting funnier and funnier because I watched this and History of the World Part 1 back to back. So when Rick Moranis came on as Lord Helmet, he's got the giant helmet. He's supposed
Darth
to be
Helmet.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Darth Vader in the movie. When him and Colonel Sanders are talking, and they go, I guess they're trying to figure out the plan or something. Again, it's been a while since I've seen Spaceballs, but when they put the VCR on and that VHS tape in, and they're like in the now, and like this is where we are in the movie.
Here it is, sir. Spaceballs. Good work, Corporal. Punch it up. That's much too early. Prepare to fast forward. Preparing to fast forward. Fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Try here. Stop.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
When will then be now? Soon.
That guy they had that did the sound effects. I've lost the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. The what? What? And the what?
What? The bleeps. Boop, boop, boop. The sweeps. The creeps. Boop, boop.
That's not all he's lost.
There's only one man who dare give me the raspberries. Lone Star.
The camera just keeps going inward and it just hits him right in the helmet. But what had me laughing, and I was snickering, and again, I've never seen the movie, when he's playing with his dolls, and the way the camera is positioned, I'm just thinking, someone's going to walk in on him, and then the door doesn't even open all the way, and I fell out of my chair.
Oh, your helmet is so big.
Lord Helmet, Black! You're needed on the bridge, sir.
Knock on my door! Knock next time!
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything?
No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again.
Good!
How about President Scrooge with the can of Perrier fresh air?
Oh, Mel, talk about a funny cameo, or not a cameo, but a character. But Mel Brooks plays a couple of characters in this. He's not just the president, but he's also Yogurt, which is Yoda.
Yes.
Merchandising!
Merchandising. Where the real money for the movie's made. Spaceballs the pencil. Spaceballs the pen. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
Yeah, I loved it when. Wait a second. What was the scene when he goes? The password's 1 2 3 4. Oh, that's what I have on my luggage.
That's the same combination with my luggage. Only an idiot would have that for their password on their luggage.
Oh, and when they're trying to beam him up, and he just says, "Oh, forget it," and he just walks into the next room, and he's there.
Yeah, they beam him in, and his body's all backwards through his head, and like, send me back. His back like, well, do it again. Now forget it. I told you never call me on this wall. Sorry, President Scrooge.
And when the ship's about to blow up, he's like, "Well, gentlemen, this is a nice ship, and you deserve to go down with it. Goodbye."
I like it. The countdown: 10, 9, 8,
6. What happened to 7?
7. Just kidding.
Oh, and it just.
This is your last chance. Push the emergency stop button. The emergency stop button. Nothing in the future works either. Gotta sign this is out of order.
Yeah. Wait, what about that final battle scene when you have Lord Helmet and Lone Star fighting, and he goes, "I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book."
I hate when my Schwartz gets tied up.
And when I saw this, like, okay, I understood this was a parody of Star Wars, but the fact that they have to take the... What's her name again? Princess Vespa?
Yes, Princess Vespa.
They have to take her to the king, and it's not some king from, like, Star Wars or anything, or, like, some character. It's literally a king from... from like the Middle Ages.
How about Prince Valium too?
I forgot about that. And they got what's it? C-3PO is Joan Rivers with the hair.
Yep.
Oh my god, this movie was hilarious.
Yeah, I personally think Spaceball was one of his greatest movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so quotable that like I said, me and my other friend, we had an entire conversation in Spaceballs quotes that no one else will understand, and we understand everything that we say.
Yeah,
Comb the desert. What have you found? Nothing, sir. Nothing, sir. What have you found? We haven't found shit.
Oh, when they're combing the desert.
He's dragging an afro pick, a giant afro pick along the desert.
Yeah, it's coming back to me now.
It's a great movie. It really is.
It is a great movie. It is a good one. I never saw Robin Hood Men in Tights. Did you ever see that one?
No, I've not seen that.
Yeah, he did that one after Spaceballs. I think that was in the 90s, I believe, like the early 90s. But I know he's done like one or two more movies. He did a movie called High Anxiety, I think. I think he mocks Hitchcock movies in that one. I haven't seen that one.
The last movie he actually did was Dracula Dead and Loving It. And that was in 95.
Was that the one with, what's his name?
Leslie Nielsen.
That's it. Yeah, Leslie. I knew. Yeah, I was thinking. What's the movie? It was The Naked Gun, but I couldn't think of his name.
Oh, Naked Gun. See, every time I think of Leslie Nielsen, I think of Airplane.
Every time I think of Leslie Nielsen, I think of Poseidon Adventure. That's how I was introduced to him. I didn't know he did all those comedies because he was known as a serious actor before he started doing movies with the suckers.
Yeah, Airplane actually was his first comedic role in a movie after all the serious ones.
Right.
And he did it. Airplane, that's another great one. If we can go off topic for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Airplane was fantastic. Airplane is another one of those movies where every time you watch it, you pick up something different from you didn't know before.
You know, it's funny. I had never seen Airplane until about 10 years ago, and I was a big fan of Family Guy back then. So when I saw Airplane for the first time, I started realizing, oh, wait a second, Family Guy, oh, they did all these jokes. Like, this was from Family Guy. That Family Guy did this and this and this. I didn't realize that they got a lot of their jokes from that movie. You know?
Yeah. The whole Family Guy Blue Harvest thing, I kind of... I understand what it was, but at the same time, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they were ripping Star Wars and ripping Spaceballs, but at the same time, it's just like, no, you're not doing this right. I mean, no.
Yeah, and Back to the Future. There was some Back to the Future bits in there, too.
Airplane 2.
Airplane 2, the sequel?
Horrible.
Never saw it.
Oh, don't waste your time.
Okay.
Don't even buy the DVD and put it on your shelf. Don't spend the money.
I won't do it. But getting back to Ted, I remember even Seth MacFarlane made fun of the scene from Airplane, like when Mark Wahlberg's talking to Mila Kunis about how they first met, and he's John Travolta in the suit.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember watching that in the movie, and I'm like, oh, this is from Airplane. And it's sad because a lot of young kids are probably not going to get this joke.
Airplane is like a staple generation movie that everyone should see. If there's going to be two from our generation satiric comedies, Airplane, Spaceballs.
Probably. And both of those are from the 80s.
They're the two staples that should be at least be seen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I would put, like, so many more... Like, the more I think about it, and I've been thinking about this for the past, like, 4 or 5 years or so, the 80s had so many great movies. Like, if you just pick one year from the 80s, you could name, like, at least 15 or 20 films that came out in just 1 year from that decade, and it's just, all of them are great. Like, if you... It's
80s
incredible.
and 90s were primed for movies, period.
I would even put the 70s in there, too.
Your movie knowledge is more vast than mine, I will be honest with there.
Yeah, because when I think the 70s, the first movies that pop into my head are French Connection, The Godfather, Exorcist, Jaws, Saturday Night Fever, Alien, Grease.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's, like, so many great Network, Dog Day Afternoon, almost every Al Pacino movie that came out in the 70s, pretty much. Everything before Scarface that he did.
Another good movie that's actually a little bit more serious that a lot of people probably should know that don't, War Games.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that in years. I think wasn't that Matthew Broderick's first film?
It was one of his first.
It was one of his first. Yeah, because he's young, and isn't that the one where he's like playing a computer game, and it turns out it's like a secret thing for the government.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. I saw that like one time a long time ago when I was like 10.
They just played it on like Stars a couple months ago recently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that in years. That movie.
It was his second movie. The first movie he did was Max Dugan Returns.
Oh, I never saw that.
Neither did I.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't know too many. For me, there's only 2 really good movies that Matthew Broderick did. Because I've heard some people say he's not that great an actor, and I kind of agree. I mean, like he's never done a movie where he just loses himself in the role. You know what I'm talking about? Like every time I see him, I'm always certain I'm watching Matthew Broderick act. But there's 2 movies he did that I really liked. One was obviously Ferris Bueller. The other one was Election. Did you ever see that?
No, I've not.
You've never... Watch it. You're gonna...
Okay.
Yeah, with Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon. He plays it... He's a teacher at a high school, and Reese Witherspoon is the know-it-all, like a complete pain in the A, all right? And she wants to win the election to be class president, and Matthew Broderick can't stand her, but it's so... What's really funny about the movie is not just the chemistry between the 2 of them, but all the other side characters and their story arcs and how they unfold as the movie goes on. Each one of them is funnier than the next one. Like, I can't explain it. You just have to see this movie.
Okay. I'll watch it.
It's pretty good.
I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. So those are all the Mel Brooks movies that I can think of. I mean, like, I've seen him in some movies, but as far as his directing goes, I mean, those are the only ones I've seen. I'll definitely check out Blazing Saddles, though, if I have time.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is really good if you get a chance.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Gene Wilder. I mean, like, any movie with him, I'll definitely check out, because he's always good. I'm going to have to watch The Producers, probably, as well.
The 05 one is really good.
I'm sorry, what was it?
The 2005 version of The Producers is really good.
Yeah, I remember when that came out. I didn't know that was a remake.
I didn't either, actually.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So I started looking up. I saw it was a remake of the 67 version. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've seen clips of the one that Gene Wilder did with Mel Brooks, but I've never seen it. But maybe I will check it out sometime. I don't know. All right, so that's all I've got to say about the Mel Brooks movies. Chris, you want anything to add to this before we wrap up?
Maybe we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money. No, but I appreciate the time, Andrew. Thank you very much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure. No problem, Chris. All right, so that's all we got for the Mel Brooks movies, and I will see you guys in the next review. Take care.